Ladies and gentlemen, it's Summerslam!
What's going on, YouTubers? It is your boy, Alyx, man, and this is another SummerSlam review for my SummerSlam review series. Welcome to the year 2000. Now, people talk about 1998 being the best year, and while it is the highest period in terms of pay-per-view sales, sellouts, in terms of arenas, the freshness of the content, if you ask me what is the best year for the Attitude Era, I would tell you it's the year 2000. And this is my opinion. Again, everyone has their own taste in what they feel is the best. For me, it doesn't get any better than 2000. WWF in the year 2000 literally was the best time to be a fan of the WWF, because they were able to find a happy medium between crash TV and actual wrestling. They had strong characters, strong alignments. Because one thing about 1999 that I felt was lacking were strong heels. Here, they had a ton of really good heel characters. People like Kane, who recently turned heel, right to censor. Triple H is a babyface, I think. Let's just assume, based off of the storyline going on with him, Kurt Angle, and Stephanie, he's a face. But for the majority of the year, he is one of the best heels in wrestling, and he will go down in history as one of the best heels, period, to walk into the business. Tazz, who is a douchebag, Shane McMahon, Chris Benoit, Edge and Christian, who became 5-second pose, Edge and Christian. So many strong characters to carry both alignments, whether you're a good guy or a bad guy. Crazy moments happening. We have one that we'll get to. Well, we got plenty, but we got one in particular I want to talk about involving Shane McMahon that happened on this show. But most importantly, we had some good wrestling. Very high quality matches in the year 2000. And I think WWF during this time was able to make everybody happy. This is an instance where I felt WWE got it right in terms of how to please the masses. You were able to do a little bit of everything. If you wanted to please the wrestling hardcore fans like me, you had good matches. If you wanted to please the casual viewer, you had those crash TV moments that would make you go, oh crap, what's this all about? If you wanted to please the storytellers, the ones who want good stories, you had the drama. You had different kind of characters to keep you invested. And I think as time goes by, that will just get better. No offense to WCW and ECW, there was no better wrestling show to watch. WWF was king, and I think they will remain king going forward for a long time. I thought this was a great show. I thought overall it was definitely one of the best SummerSlams I have seen, and it will go down in history as definitely top 10, if not top 5. It might just be in the top 5, really. We'll talk about all of that when we get into the matches, and you guys can tell me down below if you agree or disagree. But details on the show, of course. The show itself was 2 hours and 40 minutes. It premiered August 27th, 2000. Attendance 17,672. Commentary, of course, Jim Ross and Jerry the King Lawler. Ring announcer, our favorite, Howard the Fake. We open up with a 6-man tag, right to censor. Very underrated heel group. Perfect for the WWF TV 14 product. We needed that group to say, this is not good. You can't like this stuff. This is not what God made us for. We are not animals. We're not supposed to like naked women. We're supposed to appreciate them. Very PC. It was Stevie Richards' good father, who used to be Godfather. He turned heel and became the good father. And Bull Buchanan taking on our favorite boys, Too Cool. This is Fatu's first appearance as Rikishi. What an appearance it was. Good match. Very fun. That was also a good thing about this time. They knew when to pull back. In 1999, it was balls to the wall. constantly. We're doing the same stuff over and over and over and over again. It got kind of boring because it's the same things 24/7. Here, you had the bad guys win, get some heat on the bad guys, and then when the good guys won, we can get those cool moments like Too Cool dancing. We didn't need it tonight. It was alright. I mean, we still love Too Cool. They were still over. We got the worm. W-O-R-N. Super kick. Sorry, RTC wins. They do a video package of, oh yeah, the love triangle involving Kurt Angle, Stephanie McMahon, and Triple H, which was crazy. This was well done. The whole drama with Stephanie and Kurt Angle, the stuff with Kurt kissing Stephanie on SmackDown, man, and then when he kissed her, she just, no, stop. You know, you see she embraced it. Good TV. They don't do this stuff anymore. They don't do anything like this in WWF, WWE. Not nowadays. Man, if Stephanie was seen kissing Kurt now, it would probably cause a shitstorm on Twitter. We can't do this stuff nowadays. There's a lot of things we can't do nowadays anymore. I don't even know if Kurt Angle and Triple H had a match. They did have a match next month at whatever pay-per-view that was. But, yeah, they just ended this. Didn't have a real blow-off, which is disappointing. Whatever. Good story, though. We go on to Road Dogg, Jesse James, taking on X-Pac. So basically there was some dissension in DX, and this was when they were starting to go their own ways, and X-Pac was becoming one of the most hated wrestlers in the world, and we'll get more into X-Pac heat in the year 2001 when it's very prevalent. But this is the starting point of it. This is when the fans are just kinda getting sick of seeing him. X-Pac is still the exact same guy he was in 1998, with no development in his character, no change in his in-ring style. It's the same damn thing. And he remained that exact same character until the day he left, which is like 2002, I think. This is a prime example of taking a fan favorite and not advancing his character to the point where fans just get sick of him and he ends up being a heel by default. X-Pac beats Road Dogg, tries to do the whole, hey man, we had our differences, let's make up. And Road Dogg says, nah, suck it, and beats him up. So we go into one of those weird matches. So this match was made by Commissioner Mick Foley, who, by the way, amazing commissioner. One of my favorite authority figures, Commissioner Mick Foley back in 2000. But he made this match where Val Venis had to defend his IC Championship in a tag match, where it was him and Trish Stratus versus Eddie Guerrero and Chyna, and if Eddie or Chyna got the pinfall, they would win the IC Championship. So the match was fun, because it had all the right people in it. Love Eddie Guerrero, love Chyna, love this whole love story they had going on with them. And Val Venis and Trish, cool with me. Trish was hot as hell. As we know, Chyna wins the IC title here, only to lose it just a couple of days later to Eddie after he inadvertently, and I say that with quotes, inadvertently pinned her. It wasn't inadvertent. He did it on purpose. He used her to get that IC title. And we later find out that Eddie started cheating on Chyna. Yeah, and that story was crazy as well. Again, Crash TV. And what was that thing when they did the backstage hidden cameras? What was that called? Forgot what that was called. They need to bring that back, because that was awesome. Speaking for myself. Next match was Jerry the King Lawler versus Tazz. Tazz at this point was a heel. He just came into WWF, was directionless for a while. So they decided to make him a douchebag heel, and he started picking on the announcers. Because why not? What's the best way to get heat? Pick on the announcers. And he bullied Jim Ross. He bullied Jerry the King Lawler, to the point where Jerry said, fine, I'll fight you at SummerSlam. And to my surprise, this was a fun match. A solid brawl between Jerry the King Lawler and Tazz, and these two tore it down. It was nice. We even got a little action from Jim Ross, who busted a freaking glass pitcher over Tazz's head and helped Jerry win the match. And then after that, we got that match. Hardcore Championship. Shane McMahon versus Steve Blackman. Shane won the Hardcore Championship, I think, 2 weeks before this. Basically, there was this 24/7 rule where you could defend that title anywhere and everywhere as long as you have a referee. And Shane got the belt. Unfortunately, he got the belt while Steve Blackman was chasing after it, and he ended up having a match with him. at SummerSlam. And this match is famous for that one spot at the end where Shane McMahon fell 50 feet off the entrance stage. He climbed this metal scaffold that was holding up the stage, and then he fell off of it after Steve Blackman hit him on the head with a kendo stick. Yeah, it was sick. It was one of the biggest bumps in history, if not the biggest bump in history. Well, actually, his bump at Backlash 2001 beat this one. So yeah, one of the biggest bumps in WWF history. Shane's a crazy SOB, but I love him because he's a crazy SOB. Steve Blackman wins the championship after doing a freaking elbow drop off the scaffold. The stuff they did to entertain us. It's no wonder fans like me can't appreciate the product nowadays. Just saying. This is what I grew up with. You can't get mad at me when this was my childhood on a regular basis. Next match, 2 out of 3 falls. Chris Jericho versus Chris Benoit. If you are a fan of technical wrestling, if you're a fan of pure in-ring action, this is the match for you. This was great. This is, of course, 2 of the best in the business, especially at this time. In their primes, going at it. They had a long string of matches on Raw and SmackDown. 2 out of 3 falls. I think Benoit wins the first fall by submission. Jericho wins the next fall by submission. And Chris Benoit wins the last one by cheating, grabbing the ropes, and, of course, setting up a future match between the two. I forgot how this ends. I think Chris Jericho is the one that comes out on top, I believe. But we'll have to go back and see. Regardless, really good match. Chris Benoit wins. Recommend you go back and watch it. If not that match, you need to see this next match. I think everyone who watches me knows about this match. Match of the night, by far, one of the best SummerSlam matches in history. TLC 1. Tables, ladders, and chairs. WWF Tag Team Championship. Edge and Christian versus the Dudleys versus the Hardys. I've done videos on it. I've done a live reaction on it. Even now, after watching this match, I don't know, at least 100 times, it still holds up. After all these years, after 18 years, this match still holds up. A sheer classic. One of the best matches I've ever paid witness to. The spots they did, the craziness that happened, the chair shots, the inhuman usage of their bodies, going through tables, falling off the tiles above, getting smashed into ladders. It was brutal. It was crazy, but it was amazing. It's a match that, quite frankly, set the bar too high for tag team wrestling. There will never ever be a tag match that will ever top something like this. Those TLC matches, they're just in a stratosphere of their own. So, respect to all 3 tag teams for giving me one of the best matches I've ever seen. As you guys know, Edge and Christian retain. A classic match. Go out of your way to see it if you have not. And while you're at it, skip the next match. Seriously, skip it. It's a thong stinkface match. That just sounds horrible, but look who's in it. The Cat with Al Snow taking on Terry Reynolds with Perry Saturn. It wasn't a good match. And a woman putting her stinky butt in your face. Now, some people might like that. Kind of not my thing at the same time, though. There were other stuff in there that they did that was, it was sheer eye candy. It was there to give the boys and the men something to, you know what I'm saying. So, Cat wins. And then we do this match, if I can call it a match, more of an angle between The Undertaker and Kane. That goes to a no contest. The bell never rings. Taker rips off Kane's mask and he runs away. Basically a way to advance their storyline. And I think their next match, which I think happens at the next pay-per-view, that's when things get really crazy. I think their next match is actually really good. But again, I had to go back and watch that. Main event, of course, was that amazing triple threat between The Rock, Kurt Angle, and Triple H. And everything that built up to it involving Stephanie, the Love Triangle, The Rock taking on Kurt Angle and Triple H for the belt. It was all well played. It all led to an amazing match. All 3 of these guys went in there and tore it down. Amazing main event, can't complain. The Rock retains, and Kurt Angle walks off with Stephanie McMahon after she was inadvertently hit by Triple H. So again, it's kind of sad knowing that this storyline goes nowhere because it really was intriguing. And I wish it did have a blow off. Even if it was something like Kurt Angle tried to get the woman and he failed. I don't know. Because I do think Stephanie does end up helping Kurt Angle win the WWF Championship. So it's weird. It just kind of ended. And Triple H is certainly okay with Stephanie working with Kurt Angle. Whatever. It was an amazing match. Rock retains. And the show was great. So far, one of the top SummerSlams I've seen. And I think 2001, that's during the invasion angle, which a lot of people hated. That doesn't mean the show was bad. It just means it was during a time where fans were not really happy with what they were getting. Listen, honestly, 2001 might as well be a pre-show to 2002. I can't wait to 2002. 2002 will be that SummerSlam. The creme de la creme. But that's to come. Stay tuned for my thoughts on both of those shows here in my SummerSlam review series. Comment down below how you felt about 2000, how you felt about what I said, and subscribe if you have not. Thank you for watching. This is your boy, Deluxe Man, signing off right here in Deluxe Man's World. I'm out. Peace.